Welcome back to Heartland. I'm John Kasich. The problem of illegal immigrants entering the U.S. continues, and it's pushed some people to take matters into their own hands. Joining us now live from the Arizona-Mexican border where illegals have crossed into the U.S. is Fox News' Adam Housley. And also with us are two gentlemen with unique ways they're taking a stand on this important issue. All right, Adam, let me just ask you, you haven't been in this town, Sasabe, Arizona, for 2 years. What's happening down there? Are things better or worse?
Well, John, they've gotten worse. I mean, it's just behind this really nice checkpoint on the American side. Once you cross through the nice checkpoint, you get to the bad checkpoint, and you get into this city where there's no paved roads, there's very little infrastructure at all. But there is one thing. There's a thriving business for illegal immigration. There are vendors selling water. There are vendors selling shirts, hats, stuff that they would think might help people get across this desert because it's a 2 or 3 day hike in some cases, but it's just not enough to help someone trying to make it across this desert. We're told as it becomes night here and it's dark that the town, which is dangerous during the day, becomes extremely dangerous at night as smugglers and immigrants come from all over by the thousands really through this town every month to go across the border and get into the U.S.
Adam, does this drive you crazy to see this?
Well, John, it's frustrating for people on both sides. It's frustrating for people that want to shut the border down, and it's frustrating for those who want to have an open border because the people that come there, John, are a lot of times uneducated, and even if they are educated, they're told they can make it, and they have a jug of water. You're seeing kids and pregnant women, and for both sides of the political spectrum, it's extremely frustrating.
All right. Thank you, Adam. We're going to go to the Sheriff Arpaio. The sheriff here is one of the most creative law enforcement folks that we have. Sheriff, what I'd like to know from you is you're out there cracking down, trying to arrest illegals. Now, what gives you the authority to go out and take this matter into your own hands, and why are you doing it?
Well, we have a new state law that was just passed where you can lock up smugglers, and also there's an interpretation that the illegals associated with those smugglers, conspiracy, can also be locked up. So I'm locked up about 141 so far. In fact, last night we arrested 17 more booked into our county jail on felony charges.
Jason Mrochek is also with us. He has an internet site where he invites people to contact him and expose companies that hire illegal aliens. Jason, you know, maybe a good idea, but what happens if you put a name of a company up on your website and it turns out the company hasn't hired illegals?
Well, John, thanks for having me on the show. You know, what happens is that, you know, we're putting information up there. I say we as the American public because we get submissions from them, and what we're doing is putting up the information that is either evidence or reasonable suspicion, and we're leaving it up to the authorities to decide if they're guilty or they're innocent. So that's really where it comes down to it.
Now, well, what happens if somebody stuck your name up there and said you were hiring illegals? It would hurt your business, right? So, I mean, where's the element of investigation here? I understand what you're trying to do, but are you hurting people in this process?
You know, we're not trying to hurt people at all. Again, what we're trying to do is get the information out there for somebody in the, you know, in our administration to take that information and do the investigations, because right now it's not happening. I mean, we've had, you know, we saw the IFCO bust, but that's about it, and you know, we haven't seen any sort of action taken against the employers, you know, that is doing any good.
Sheriff, we've got 12 million illegals here. Now, you've been an amazing sheriff out there in this Phoenix area. You sentence people to unbelievable things, to embarrass them, to get them to straighten their lives up. We've got 12 million illegals in this country. How are we supposed to deal with that if we don't create some sort of amnesty for them?
Well, you know, I was a director in Mexico City. I covered Mexico as a director of the Federal Drug Enforcement Administration, so I know a little about Mexico, South America, and the border. It's a very difficult problem. I think the only way you're going to solve it, build up the economy. In the meantime, I don't think we should have amnesty. We should enforce the law, enforce the border, and do what I'm doing. As they come into Maricopa County, they will be arrested and thrown into our jails.
How are you handling them all, Sheriff? Where are you putting them?
Well, I got 2,000 in tents, not illegals. I have 10,000 in jail. I put up tents 13 years ago. I'll put tents up from here to Mexico. I'm not worried about where to place these guys. That's a cop-out. That's an excuse. Not for me, it's not an excuse. So I'll make room for them.
And you keep getting reelected, Sheriff. You know, this is pretty tough stand. I can't think of anybody else in America that's really out there doing this. In fact, in some cities, you're not even allowed to ask somebody if they're here illegally. What do the people tell you when they hear what you're up to this time?
Well, I'm not doing this for politics. I just got reelected in a fourth term. But on the other hand, 97% of the people in this county, according to polls last week, support my mission. I'm the only law enforcement agency doing that in Arizona. I don't know why the new state law allows it, but I'm not going to criticize other law enforcement agencies. I'm the elected sheriff. I do what I feel is right for the people of this county.
You know what, Sheriff? What you got is an awful lot of common sense, and you're a leader, and that's why people follow you. Jason, I want to say this to you. You know, look, you're trying to do something to solve a problem. Just be careful with that website. But you know, I like to see people that stand up and stand for something. I want to thank you both. Coming up.